Well, now I want to turn to Bill Davis, who is building the Sylvan scale model of a boxcar in both HO and O scale. And Bill and I talked about this the other night. I said, I really appreciate you doing this because Bill's primarily an O scaler, but showing people the difference between the two scales, I really think is important. And Bill, I really do appreciate you doing this for us. So I'll turn it over to you, sir.
All right, well, thanks, Jim. Okay, let's hit that. Let's hit that. No, maybe not. Oh, there we go. Okay, and let's hit this. I need to get to full screen. Let's see. I get the full screen here. Okay, you get the full screen. Where's the full screen button here?
Click on slideshow, or to bottom left.
Okay. Oh,
The one that looks like a screen.
Just
the one
to
that
the
looks
right
like
of
a
that,
screen.
there we go.
Third, yep.
Okay. I don't know why I got a bar up there, but anyway. Okay, so we're building this boxcar. I found another picture of it in O scale and HO scale. So I'll start off working with the detailing of the O scale version. We're going to talk about doors, grab irons, tack boards, in details, and the underframe. So in installing the doors, they said to put 80,000 styrene as a backup for the door, just to give it a little more support. I didn't have an 80,000 styrene, but I did have some 40,000 strips. And so I did that with the strips. And then I found that the doors I thought were a little thick. And so I sanded them down to be a thinner profile. And I added here chooch door glides, the bottom. For the grab irons, there were none provided in the kit, in the O scale one. They were provided in the HO one, but not the O scale. And so I made this little jig, and each one of these holes is different size grab irons. It's basically just a piece of 20 thousandths evergreen stripe siding. I use 15 thousandths wire. That scales out to be 3/4 of an inch in O scale, which I think is more correct size. I know from when I worked on the caboose that that was about the size of the grab irons and stuff like this. So a few years ago, I helped build restore a prototype caboose. You got to be careful drilling these things. I won't tell you. I didn't do too bad on the O scale car, but we won't discuss the drill bits that died. And trying to get the piece of drill bit out of the car was a real experience, but I managed to pull it off. Okay, so this is the tack board. This is the way it comes with the kit, but I felt it needed some extra details. So I added these nut bolt washer casters from Grant Line. These are number 99 nut bolt washer castings, and they're pretty small. Now this is the boxcar end. I found that these are Tichy rivets. I found that this pattern was incorrect on the car, so I had to drill them out, and I added these Tichy rivets. Plus, I thought it looked a lot better with the Tichy rivets in it than the dimples that they had on the car. You can see where I added the tack board, got your grab irons, and so this end is pretty well detailed for right now. What am I doing here? Now, this is the underframe. Now they provided last time we talked about, I added these coupler supports, and I was going for the more prototype design than using like a KD box or something like this. We added these these truck bolsters, which come from Protocraft, which makes them really easy to install trucks. Now, putting this 32 thousandths wire, where's my mouse, through here, involved a little trickery. And what I actually ended up doing is I cut the wire right here and installed this side. And then I came over here and installed that side and carefully made them glued together so they formed one. Then I made this, this bracket came with the kit for this brake cylinder. This board came with a kit, but I felt it was too thick, so I used a thinner board from my scrap styrene collection. And over here to support, where's my mouse? Over here to support the air tank of the AB system, I made brackets. These brackets consisted of 20 thousandths, I think more like 15 thousandths by quarter-inch styrene, and then the top there's a little angle piece on top up here, which is like a 10 thousandths by 40 thousandths piece. So that pretty much brings us up to where we're at on the boxcar, except for installing the floor. What I discovered in installing the floor is that this area here was too thick. And so the floor wouldn't fit. So my options were to sand the floor down on each end, but I would lose this corner detail of these braces. So I decided instead to take my Dremel tool and cut out the thickness here, and then using a chisel blade and a couple other X-Acto knife blades and stuff, I was able to clean this all off here and make this thin enough so the floor will fit in. Now I'm going to go back later on and add a little filler in this area here on both ends so that it'll be correctly and filled in properly. Now this here is the drawer glides. They came out really easy to do on the O scale model. We'll talk about the HO one in a few minutes, but that's pretty much where we're at on the O scale model at this time. Actually, this is what the completed side looks like at this point. I will be adding the next time we get together, I'll be adding the brake rigging, the end brake wheel system, and the roof walk and the ladders, which have to be built up in O scale to this model to complete it and get it ready for painting. Now, building the HO body, we're going to talk about the underframe, the grab irons, the doors and track, the ends and roof walk, and the sides. Now, on this floor, they provided this green soft wire that was talked about earlier. And I did the same thing here. I put this piece of wire in from here, and I drilled through these brackets here. This was already drilled through. I just had to clean it, but I drilled through here with a number 20. This is about 20 thousandths wire. So I drilled through here with a number 75 drill bit and kind of honed it out so it's a little bit bigger. And then this here, I'm putting the K brake system on this car. So these two brackets support the K brakes. There's less to do under this car as far as the K brakes are concerned than there was on the O scale car. I forgot to mention here that this piece right here, across here and across here, were castings, and I added those there. Same on the O scale car, and on each one of the four corners here, on each side of the bolster here, are these plates were also added. Now, in reading the article on the this car, in the RMC article on essential freight cars, they talked about jacking pads. So I added a little piece of styrene in here, rounded the corners, and made a jacking pad. Don't know if it's the right design, don't know that, but it's a jacking pad. And also I added the KD coupler pockets on both ends. And that pretty much brought the ender frame of this car to the point ready to do some plumbing. Now, these are the grab irons that are provided in the kit. Number 78 drill bits. And let's put it this way, my collection of 78 drill bits are down to one now. And digging them out was pretty hard. In a couple of cases, I couldn't dig them out. And so I simply glued the end of the grab iron to the end of the drill bit with CA and hoping it sticks. You can get a better view here. Here's the jacking pad over here that sticks out just a little bit beyond the side that they use to jack the cars up, take the trucks out from underneath them. Now, this is the this here is the door track that was provided with the kit. And as you can see, I didn't do very well with carving out the piece from the flash. This is very, very fragile and very, very difficult to do. My buddy Murph, I was over at his house and he gave me some 10,000s by, might even be thinner than that, HO 1x4 and some HO 4x4. And so I cut the 1x4 to length and I cut these little blocks out of 4x4 and glued that together, and that made my door track. Didn't have this problem in O scale, but I had this problem in HO. And I did find it difficult at times to work with some of the really small pieces. It's just not what I'm used to. And cutting pieces out that way is a little bit difficult when you're not used to working with those size pieces. So this is the door, and this is the track assembled and installed. And I didn't carve this door down. I didn't feel it was too thick, but this is the door installed with the track installed. And so this area is pretty much finished. Now on the O scale model, some of these cars had a little metal strip that went across right here. And that was to keep the door from, especially when it was a wooden door, from going in behind here and hitting these braces here. So I didn't put that on this particular car because it had the steel door. I did it on the O scale car because I figured it was a converted car from wood door to steel door. I went ahead and used the kit roof walk on the HO model. It was pretty easy to do, but I did do some repairs though to some of the roof walk supports. Basically did that with the ACCing a piece of very small styrene there and then send him to the proper shape. This is the completed end. These little guys here, I needed 4 for the model. I made about 11 because either they flew away and I never found them again, or they just didn't work out, or I cut them too short, too long, to this, to that. But I finally got them all on there. I didn't have any nut bolt washers small enough to put that detail on the HO car. I do have Archer rivets, and I may try doing that on it. This car did have correct location of the rivets on the end of the end here, so I didn't have to do to it what I did with the O scale car. And this is the completed side. Everything in here is ready to go. I will be adding Tichy ladders over here because they have correct ladders available from Tichy in HO, but not in O scale. So anyway, that pretty much just finishes where we're at this car at this time. I did find it's quite a bit of difference in dealing with the HO scale as the O scale. There are things that I wouldn't have considered putting on the HO car because they're just too small, and the detail level maybe is not required, but I had to do that with the O scale car. Next time we'll finish the brake rigging on these cars. We will add whatever other details need to be added, like the ladders and things, and get it ready for painting. Any questions?
Bill, thank you so much. You've done a fantastic job. That really looks like a beautiful model. And I again, thank you so much for doing it in both of the scales.